Okay, so let's resume back. So, what actually we have, discussed in the last classes, the commands which is based on vector operations. So, I can show you the commands whatever we have executed. So, what we have done is in the last class, we just created vectors. So, what do you mean by vector? A single dimensional array. So, we have created vectors, okay, by filling some random values, by filling sequences, or by giving some values, input values to the vector. So that is how we did. We also saw vector operation. So what do you mean by vector operations? So whatever the primary arithmetic operations we do, so same thing we did with the vector data. So we have seen how we can operate on a vector and a constant value, and also we have seen that how do we perform arithmetic operations on two vectors as well. So then we have seen we can do even logical operations, and then we have seen that this we can take it to the next level, that is we can go for a multi-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional array, here we call it as a matrix. Okay, we are starting with matrix. So how to create a matrix? So we started with creating a zero matrix, or I can say that constant matrix. So how did we achieve that? So we achieve that just by giving a function, just by calling a function matrix. Okay, what is the first attribute we have to pass to the particular matrix function is the data. What data you want to fill it in the matrix. So we have given 0. Then we have given number of rows and number of columns. So we have given 3 row and 4 column in our example, and we fill the entire matrix with 0. So the same way we can fill the matrix with 1 or 10 or constant value. Then we have taken to the next level. So instead of filling my matrix with a constant value, can I fill with some numbers? So how do we do that? So we have just created one vector in step 1. Okay, so here you can see in the example, we have given a is equal to 1 is to 12. It means that the sequence value from 1 to 12 is being created and it is being assigned to A. Okay, what is the starting index of A? Is it 0 or 1?
One.
1, exactly. So we have array which starts with 1 index. So totally we have 12 values. So 1 to 12 index we have. Okay. So now what are we trying to do is we just want to reconfigure this entire vector into a matrix. So how do I do that? So we are calling a function matrix. So the first attribute is the data which we have to give. So generally we used to give some constant value like 0 and 1. So here, instead of that constant value, we have given the variable. So the variable name is A here. So A indicates that the values which are present in the vector A has to be copied. Then we have given three rows and four columns. So what happens here is there will be one empty matrix created with 3 rows and 4 columns. Then the values will be filled by column. Okay, so if the value will be filled by column. Suppose if I want to change the filling, instead of filling it by column, if I want to fill by row, I have to select the option in the matrix function. So this much actually we have done. So now we are going for the next level, that is in the place of matrix. So we are going to see how can we use a command called as dim command. So we have heard about this dim command. Dim command is nothing but dimension, right? So here what are we trying to do is, you can see in the example, first we are going to create 8 item vector. Okay, so I have created a vector with 8 item names. So you can see it is given SIJO is equal to 1 is to 8. It means what? We have generated the sequence with 1 to 8 values and the values are copied into SIJO. Okay, then what are we doing is we are going to create a matrix with dim command. How I will be able to do that? So we are giving here dim of SIJO, okay, and then we are giving C of 2 comma 4. What is this actually? Is nothing but you are actually creating, you are reconfiguring your variable. Okay, now let us compare these two statements. What is the major difference between these two steps? Here also we are creating matrix. Here also we are creating matrix. But in what way these two are different? So here I can say I have created vector in the name of A. Then I have created a matrix in the name of map2. Correct? But here what are we doing is we are not creating vector and matrix, but we are creating one vector and changing the dimension of the vector into a matrix. So how I am doing it? With the help of a command called as dim, dimension it. So I am changing the dimension of my command. Okay, by this defining the number of row and column. Shall we try this command now? Okay, so let me
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So let me take my command window. So you have two options to execute your commands, either in the command prompt, or you can go for a new file and you can type all the commands here and then use control enter to execute your commands. So you can save the file on a day basis also. Okay, here you can just save the file at the end of the class. You can save the file with the date, right? So that two options you have. So now let me try. So I'm going to create a variable here. So let me say yes is equal to. Okay. So we are going to create a sequence 1 colon 12. So let me print of yes. Sorry. What was the problem? I have given capital yes. When I was trying to give print, I used small case. Okay, so according to our programming, it is case sensitive. So the uppercase yes is different from the lowercase yes. So now I have given yes is equal to 1 is to 12 and then I have printed the values. I have made sure that it's a vector. So I can see that I can see in my, what do you call, my environment also, there is a variable which is being created. Yes, and it's saying integer array 1 is to 12 and listing the values here. Fine. Now what are we trying to do? We want to change the dimension. So how do I do that? I should give dim of yes. Okay. And then I should give is equal to C of. So here I have totally 12 elements, right? So now let me try 3 comma 4. So now what happened is, now look here, look at your S. Earlier, S was in the values, right? Now S is being moved into data. Did you see that? Did you see that? Those who have not seen, you try in your system. First, when I created S, it was listed in the values. Now later on, what happened is, now S becomes a data. Why? It has a multi-dimensional structure now. How it is being done? It's being done by the command called as dim. So we have given dim of capital S, this is my vector or a variable, is equal to C of 3 comma 4. So here what are we trying to say? We are trying to say we are having 3 rows and 4 columns. So you can see here 3 rows and 4 columns and the values are filled by columns. It's not actually filling. What we have done, we have restructured. So here you don't have two variables, you have only one variable. You have only one variable. Now, can I change again? Can I change again? Right now, how is my values? My values are like this, print of yes, and I have 3 rows and 4 columns. Now, I want to try the same command again. Is that is possible? Now, let me check. So, here instead of that, I want to give 4 rows and 3 columns. I'm able to execute the command again. Okay, now let me print the value. Print of yes. So you could see that we have 4 rows now and 3 columns. And the values are, configured according to the row and the column. So what I can do is I can change my vector. I can change the shape of my vector at any time. I can just reconfigure with the number of rows and columns. So that is one best thing in your, art programming with the help of your command dim. Dim is like you're redimensioning your variable. Okay, can you try this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's continue. So we'll just, we have seen that creating matrix in 2 ways. Now moving on to the next thing. how do I access the matrix? This is going to really help us in many ways. So what is that is, say for example, any data, if it has more than a dimension, we say that it has added labels. What do you mean by label? Suppose if I say that, I have given this example already. Suppose if I say 74.5, then you will be saying what is 74.5. So I should say that, okay, it actually belongs to a person. Okay, maybe I say it belongs to Jiren. Then you will say, okay, it is owned by Jiren, but we don't know what it is. That 74.5, is it his, what do you call, is it his age? Is it his mark? Is it his attendance? Or what it is, no one knows. So I'm adding another label saying that it is his marks. Okay, so like that I can add as many dimension to my data saying that this is the meaning of my data. Simply if I give a data like a number 74.5 or 97.5, it does not have any meaning. How do I add meaning to my data? I should add labels. So how do I add labels? By saying rows and columns. So I'll say that this number belongs to this person and this is this value. So then interpretation is going to be very easy. So when I know all these things, then accessibility. Accessibility is like, so now I want to access one full column or I want to access one full row. What do you mean by row? I want to access data of one person or I want to access an attribute. So how do I do that? So that is what we say accessing the data. So now let's see how we can access the matrix data. So we know very simple way like how I can access this. I can give this way. Like within a square bracket, I can mention row and column. Then I will be able to access the respective data value. So how do I do that? So we can try here. So I can say S of 1 comma 2. So what happens is that this goes to the first row. Okay, this is my first row. I'm picking the second column value. So that value is 5. So I'm able to extract one value. Okay, and I'm mentioning this is the intersection of a row and a column. Now, anything else? No, I'm able to access the data. How do I access one full row or column? So I can do this way. So now I have given yes of 2 comma. Okay. So generally, look at the previous example. I have given 1 comma 2. So it means first row, second column. So now I have given second row, but I have not mentioned the column name and I am simply giving enter. So what happens when I give this way? I can see the values are 2, 6, 10, which is nothing but all the values in my row 2 are displayed. Okay, I'll show you one more time. So let me print yes first. So this is the value of my matrix. So I want to access one particular data. Then I should give yes of 1 comma maybe 3. Okay. So it is picking up the first row and it is taking the third value, that is 9. And it is saying if the value is 9. Now instead of accessing one data, I want to access one full row. So how do I do it? I'm saying yes of and I'm mentioning the row. For example, third row. But I have not mentioned any column name. If I have not mentioned any column name, what happens is it will pick the entire row and displays the value. So I can see 3, 7, 1. These values are there in my third row. Similarly, now let me try this. Yes of, I'm sorry. Yes of, I have not specified anything and then I have given a comma, then I have given 3. So it means what? I have not mentioned which row, but I have mentioned the column as 3. Then what I can see is in the third column, all the values in the third column, irrespective of the row numbers, are extracted. So I can see 9, 10, 11, 12. The values which are available in the third column of my matrix is being extracted. As of now, we are just displaying the value. So how I can copy the value? I can just do this way. Yes 1 is equal to yes of. So now I want to pick fourth row. Okay, and I'm sorry. fourth row, and I have given enter. So S1 is being created. You can see S1 belongs to the integer data type and 1 is to 3. It means that the fourth row with the three values 4, 8, 12. The values are copied into S1. So I can just print S1, right? So I can access. Okay. So now any more ways I can access my data. So we have seen like how do we extract the full row, how do we extract the full column. Okay, yeah. How do we extract the full column? How do we access the data? Now there is another option. Okay, what is the other option is I want to extract the partial columns. What do you mean by partial columns? So now again let me take S. So this is my yes. Okay. Now I want only one row to third row or row number 2 to 4. So how do I do that? So I can just give yes. Okay, I can give 2 colon 4. So we know very well when we are giving this colon operator, it takes the sequence. Now what is the sequence? 2, 3, 4. So 3 rows. And I have not mentioned the column names. So what happens when I give this way? So I can see that 2, 6, 10. You can see 2, 6, 10, 3, 7, 11, 4, 8, 12. So the 3 row values are extracted. So the first row is left out and the 3 row values are being extracted. Okay. Now another doubt is, okay, I am able to select a part of the row. Will I be able to select part of the column? Yes. You can just give comma. Comma indicates all the rows will be taken and I have given 1 colon 2. So we are extracting the first two columns. Now, can we mix both of this? How do I mix both of this? So what I want is, I want uh, 2 and 3 row, okay, and the columns I want 1, 2, okay. So I have picked up row number 2 and 3, okay. So this is my row number 2 and 3. So I have totally 6 elements here, but I don't want all the elements. I want first column and second column. So I have given 1 is to 2. And you could see here, see this is the one, okay. We have picked up column number 1, we have picked up column number 2. And we didn't want the column number 3. So we will be able to access a part of the row, part of the column. So this is the way we can access a matrix. Okay, can you try this? Yes, we'll move on. So now what we have seen is we have seen a matrix data, like how to create and how to access. Now moving on to the next, that is we are going to think in our next level, that is data. Okay, here
Excuse me, ma'am.
see, yes.
Ma'am, in this, when we are selecting, the first part is the row, ma'am, right? And
Okay, so we'll move on. So as I told you that now the next thing what we are going to see is the data frame. First of all, let's see what is actually a data frame. What's the difference between a matrix and a data frame, and what are the similarities between matrix and data frame? So as I told you before, a value with the label, we call it as a data. So simply if I give 10 does not have any value, but if I say 10 is a number and it belongs to a particular house, then it has totally different value. So now what are we going to do in data frames is, you will be having a multi-dimensional data, but you will have added label also. So in the matrix, how do I access my data items is, I will simply give the row number and the column number. There are no other identity to access the data except the row number and the column number. But we will always not remember the row number and column number, right? I may remember that, okay, I should access the mark of a student, but I don't know it is in which column, right? I want to access the attendance of last month, but I don't know which column it is. But I will say that attendance I want. So, rather remembering the index, if the data has some labels, that would be great, isn't it? So, we are going for the data frame. So what this data frame is going to have is, the data frame will be having each and every column with the particular label. So here in this example, what we are doing is we are creating three vectors first. Okay, what are the three vectors? So you are creating a vector weight, vector price, then vector metals. So we have created three vectors, and then what are we trying to do is we are trying to put together into a data frame. So how are we trying to do that? We are just saying that out of this weight, out of this price, and out of this metal is going to be my category. Okay, category, or I'm going to say that it's a chest type. Okay, so here you can see in the metals they have given gold, silver, gems, gold, gems. So it means that this is the type of the particular row. Okay, so to simply visualize this data actually looks like this. Can you see here? So you can see 1, 309,000 gold, 2, 205,000 silver. Then we have 3, 112,000 gems. Then 4, 250, 7,500 gold. Like that, this is the data we actually want to have. Okay, how are we going to do with the actually a data frame is you are going to simply say that data dot frame and you pass on the three values. Done. Okay, so now let me try this. Maybe we'll try with the different data to understand very easily. So first thing we will have three vectors. So now let me create the first vector as yes name. Okay, let me call it as student name. And how do I put data into vector? I should use C operator. Okay, so name. So what are not I can see whoever's name I'm seeing, I'm going to type okay. Sure. Then we have Boni. Then we have G. Then we have here. Okay. So I've created some names. Let me print them. Okay, done. Now I'm going to create yes, and I'm going to say marks. Can we have? Okay, marks. Okay, C off. Okay, so we will say uh, 78.5, then 81.7, then we will say then we will say like 69.6, then we will say 90.1. Okay, so that is also created. So I can see here yes name is created, yes marks are created. Then I'm going to say student class. Okay, so I'm going to say yes of. I say that maybe a 4 and say A. Okay, then I'll say uh, fourth, okay, don't mind that. I'm just for to understand and giving fourth benefit. Okay, don't mind about marks also. I'm not sure. Given randomly, I didn't even look at the names. Okay, then I'll give fourth MCA. Then I'll give fourth energy. Okay, yeah. So my three vectors are ready. Yes name, yes marks, and then yes class. Okay. Now I'm going to make it as a data frame. So let me say student data. Okay, student data is equal to df dot. So what happens is this df is your data frame. So I'm going to say that I'm going to use the function df. Okay. I'm sorry. Data uh, data dot frame, and now we have to pass the vectors. So we say yes name, okay, comma, then yes marks, comma, then yes class. Enter. Print of to data. Okay, so now look at that. In the previous case, when I was printing the matrix, I can see the row has number, column does not have any variable, column also had numbers like 1, 2, 3. So now, how do I access these things? I can access these values by the attribute name. I can access by calling yes name. I can access by calling yes mark. I can access by calling yes class. Instead of calling the index by 1, 2 and 3, I can use the column names, or I can say that attribute names. So here we have totally three columns. One is the name, the other one is the mark, the other one is the class. Okay, now I'm going to ask you, here I have created only 3. Okay, now can you create 4 columns like this? I have taken student, you can pick anything. Okay, and then can you create 4 columns this way? And can you create a data frame? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Please let me know once done. Jiren, you have to share your screen after doing this, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, good. Okay, Jiren, your data has totally 4 columns, right? Yes name, yes role, yes mark, yes code, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
generally how do we access the matrix? We will give the row column like that, right? Now,
Yes, ma'am.
can you try this way, Jiren? Can you give stored data? Okay, type stored data. No, this is yes. Press tab. Give dollar symbol. Can you give
Mm,
dollar? Yeah. Now what we all can see is the moment when we have used the dollar symbol, we could see the list of your attributes or the list of columns are displayed. So you can see name, you can see role, you can see mark, you can see course. Now let's pick yes, any one you pick, any one you select and hit enter.
yes, name, ma'am.
Yes, enter.
Enter.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
No. Hit enter key.
Ma'am, I have clicked enter only. It showed dollar S name.
Again another time hit enter. Why? Yes. This is what we wanted. So now you can see that the values in the column name is being listed. Okay. Can you type other, what do you say? Yes. Other variables also like this? Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. So we are able to access. Can you use now dollar code? Yeah. Okay. All of you are able to get this to access the data frame? Yes, yes, exactly. So when you see the environment, you can see that the stored data is listed under the data, and it is saying for observation, for variable. What do you mean by for observation? Observations are nothing but the 4 rows, and variables are nothing but the column. So it is not saying it is row and column, rather it is saying that for observation of 4 variables. Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what you call it as a data frame. Now, next question is, what is the advantage of having a data frame? So, the advantage of having a data frame is, in the last semester we have studied data mining, where we used to call data sets, right? How the data set will look like, you will have some variables, input variable and one output variable. And we will say that the input variables are the attributes. Output variable is a class name, right? You remember we used to call it as the label. Okay, so the same way here also, whenever I have my data set, the data set is in the form of a CSV file. That file can be converted into a data frame while accessing it or while I'm performing some operation. Okay, now here you can see that Jaren has he has clicked on the data. What happened in the right side is the data is spread across in the right side. You can see yes name, yes role, yes mark, yes code. All these things are appearing in the form of a table. Okay, it appears in the form of the table with all the values. Are you getting it? Okay.
Ma'am, can you
Yes.
explain this
Huh.
this part view bracket student data? This
Uh,
part. Yes, ma'am.
he actually didn't write the code. He has just click on the stored data. Just click on it.
Okay, ma'am.
Automatically that function is called. Or you can use view also to view the PDF file or to view the data set values. So here we call it as the data frames. We call it as the data frames.
Can we download? Can we extract this data as a external file or something like PDF or something?
Yes, yes, we will see that. Okay. Jiren, thank you for sharing this. I'll continue. Thank you, Jiren. So I'll share my screen. Hope you could see that. So now what is our doubt is like, yeah, we have seen how the data frame can be displayed and how do you access the columns. You can use this way. Now Jerin has demonstrated. Also you can use this way. Like within the square bracket, you can mention what type of column it is like. Whether I want to see weight or price or types. In our example, it is name, role, like that we can say, or you can also give the index value. Okay, so you can access either by index value, you can access by square bracket, you can access by dollar. Fine. Now what is our doubt is like, how do I open a PDF file, sorry, a CSV file, and also how do I save the data frame. So saving the data frame is going to be very simple. So you can see the function that is write.csv. Can we all try this now? Use this write.csv, and here whatever is your data frame name. Okay, whatever is your data frame name. So here Jiren had stored data. So he can use stored data, comma, you can mention the location where you want to save this file. Okay, suppose in your you want to save it in D colon. So I can say in D colon slash student data dot CSV. Okay, just give this and check whether you are able to save the file. Let me also try here. I'll come to my, yes, my RStudio. So I'm going to save this file. So write dot CSV. Okay, what's the first thing I should give? I should give which data I have to save. So it is nothing but stored data, right? STUD, yeah, stored data, comma, and I'm going to give D colon slash student dot CSV. Okay, the command is being executed. Okay, now I should go to D colon. Okay, here's my computer. Yes, D colon. This is my D colon, and I can see there is a file student.
Ma'am, we are only able to see Word file right now.
Are you able to see? Okay, I'll reshare again. Share screen. Completely. Yes. Okay, I have gone to my D colon. I can see. Okay, I'll just change. Yeah, there is one file which is created student, which is a CSV file. It's being created today by 10:08 a.m. I'm opening this file, and I can see whatever the values I have given is saved. So these are the column names, the attribute names we have given, and this is the simple, what do you call, row index, which is being added by default. You are able to create the same file. I'll show you the command one more time. So this is how I used to save my data frame. We have created, so what we have done, step number 1, we created 3 vectors. Step number 2, we created data frame. And step number 3, we have saved the data frame in the form of CSV file. Okay. So today what and all we have seen is, we have started from matrix, and then we have moved on to data frame, and we have seen how to save data frame also.